how you feel, what you need, what baby needs, and to be able to give you a break as well. Hi guys, welcome to More Life with Courtney, and if this is not your first time, welcome back. Thank you all so much for visiting. Today's video is going to be a Q&A for my first-time moms, those who are trying to get pregnant, those who just had a baby, and this may not be your first time having a baby, but you just need some advice on how to manage being a mom, having a newborn again. It may have been a long time since you've had a new baby. I actually did a Q&A. Well, I did a question on my Instagram, maybe I think back in November. And I'm finally getting the time to do the video for you all. Thank you all so much for your patience. I know you all had plenty of questions and I have plenty of answers for you. So if this is something that you're interested in, please stay tuned and make sure you subscribe and make sure you follow me on Instagram so that way whenever I have another question box for you all in my stories, you all will be able to put your questions in. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. I don't have these questions in any particular order. I just basically screenshot all the questions, and then I had a lot of other people reach out to me to ask me questions that didn't want to put their questions on Instagram. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go down the list as to how the questions were asked to me. First question. How did you create a schedule, or did you create one, or just follow the baby? I basically kind of did both. If you all don't know, or if this is your first time visiting my channel, I just had a baby. He was born April 5th, 2023. So he'll be 10 months in a couple of weeks. He is such a great baby. He does not cry unless he absolutely needs something or if he's fighting his sleep. Those of you all who are familiar with that, you all know the struggle. But basically, I kind of followed him, but then I made sure that he stayed on that schedule. So before he started going to daycare, which he actually started going to daycare at 3 months, I had to go back to work. I only had 12 weeks off from work. Well, not only, because some people don't even have that. I will say I am definitely blessed and grateful to be able to have had 12 weeks off from work. But he went back to daycare, or he went to daycare when he was a little more than 3 months old. And I think that actually is what started him on a serious routine, because when he first got there, he wasn't taking naps. It was like he was trying to see what was going on, who are these new people, new faces, new activities, and he refused to take a nap there. Now, when that first day, I'm gonna tell you, that first day when he came back home, we got him home and we washed him up. I definitely washed him up, feed him, and put him to bed every night. But that night, he didn't even eat. I was trying to feed him. He knocked out and slept from around 7 o'clock all the way until 5 o'clock the next morning. And I knew that baby was tired. Like I said, he didn't take a nap. He was up and around and alert the whole time while he was at daycare. At first, I was worried, but I'm like, he's fine. He'll drift off to sleep when he really needs to go to sleep. And the only time that he actually went to sleep there initially was when they had him in one of those little bouncy chairs. He would not go to sleep in the crib. He was up, moving around, being nosy, but eventually he got used to being able to be comfortable around those at the daycare and be able to sleep. And so now, after that, that's really his schedule now. Now, before he went to daycare, I would follow his schedule. We both fell asleep. Whenever we fell asleep, we'll be up at midnight, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. When he was younger, he needed to eat a lot more often, so we would wake up throughout the middle of the night whenever it was time for him to eat. But like I said, once he got to daycare and I went back to work, which unfortunately work forced me to lose my breast milk supply. I wasn't able to pump as often that I would, or feed as often as I would when we were at home. So he kind of got used to drinking formula, and I would give them the formula at daycare. But he would definitely, it took him a good while, I will say, to get used to being able to take a nap while he was at daycare, but he still sticks to that same routine. So wake up around 5 o'clock in the morning. I wash him up and put his clothes on. He's at daycare. He may take 1 or 2 naps at daycare. And the other time, he's eating. Playing. Time he gets home, he's dozed off from being in the car driving from daycare to home. I'll wake him up, take him upstairs, and I will cuddle with him a little bit, play around just a little bit or whatever. Around that time, it may be around 6:30 p.m., 6 o'clock, 6:30 p.m. And I take off his clothes, wash his body down, wash off all of the school, the daycare, kids and germs, wash it off. Prior to maybe about 3 to 4 weeks ago, after I would feed him, get him changed, washed up, changed, and fed, I would just rock him to sleep in the bedroom, and then I would take him into the nursery to lay him down. Just recently, it's like when I try to lay him down and rock him, he would start fighting and bucking in my arms and just fighting his sleep, like I said. So once I do all of that in our bedroom, then I take him into his nursery and I turn all the lights off. I put on the little hatch. I think it's a hatch. No, I'm sorry, it's a Frida air humidifier, and it has like a light on it that varies with blue, green, teal, white, all purple, I think, lights or whatever, like a soft night light. And then I put on some of Janae Aiko. She has a few sleep soul music lists on Apple Music, and I put on some of that. It's like soothing R&B baby music to help put them to sleep. It has like a little white noise along with like lullaby type music, but it's all instrumental. I'll put that music on. When I tell you, as soon as I sit down, and I give him a blanket, as soon as I sit down in that rocking chair and wrap the blanket around him, have the music playing and the light on, he immediately lays his head down on my chest. It's like he doesn't want to fight. It's like we've set the mood to go to sleep. I rock him in the rocking chair. Sometimes he'll sit up looking around, look at the light here and there. But for the most part, he'll lay down, and it takes maybe like 15 minutes to rock him to sleep, and he's out, and I'm able to put him in the crib. Sometimes he may wake up in the crib, and I just lay him in our bed until we're ready to go to bed, and I put him back in the crib. But for the most part, he's out for the night. And like I said, that happens around maybe 6:30, 7 o'clock, and then he sleeps throughout the night until like 4:30, 5 o'clock. Every now and then, he may wake up a little earlier. And sometimes if he wakes up earlier, he'll go back to sleep until it's time for us to get ready to go to work and daycare and do it all over again. All right. The next question is, what was the hardest pivot from being married with no kids and being married with a child? Good question. I'll say the dispersing of responsibilities, that has definitely and still kind of is, just to be fully transparent, been an issue or something that we're trying to still navigate. Of course, you know, with us being moms and we're with them 24/7 when we're on maternity leave, we're so used to doing everything. And when dads go back to work, or, you know, the other spouses go back to work, or the parent goes back to work, they're there at work all day and they come home, they're tired, and we're still on go. We're still on go. And the thing is, sometimes us moms, we get burnt out, and it's like, okay, so when are you going to pick up the slack? You know, I need to have time to do me, time to rest, time to, you know, do whatever I want to do. And so I would say that has been the hardest pivot, because you go from being able to just get up and do whatever you want to do, have your independence, take a shower whenever you want to, go to brunch, go to lunch, go to happy hour, you know, do whatever, anything, do some type of a hobby. But then you go from being able to do all of those things, just get up on your own and not have to worry about figuring out who's going to watch the baby, has he eaten, has he been changed. You know, it's just so many things. And the thing is like, since you're so used, as the mom, you're so used to doing it, it's like, it's second nature to you. But then you get frustrated because dad or the other spouse may not be picking up that slack, and you want them to take the initiative to do those things. And sometimes they don't have it in their mind to do it because they're so used to you doing it. So sometimes you just have to state what you need, let them know, and then even though they may not do things like how you usually do it, just explain to them how the process that you have developed and the routine that you have formed for you and baby, The baby should not have to adjust their schedule or adjust their routine. Parents need to adjust to accommodate baby, and that's just what I can say. And you need to be able to communicate that with your spouse so that way they understand how you feel, what you need, what baby needs, and to be able to give you a break as well. Next question. What are some top things you consider before giving birth? Preparation wise. Top things to consider before giving birth, I would say where they will sleep, whether they're going to sleep in the room with you, if you have a bassinet, travel, things that you may need as far as car seats, strollers, how do you want to transport the things that baby needs as far as diapers and wipes and change of clothes, like what type of diaper bag works best for you. I actually have a couple of book bags because I like to have my hands free, so I don't really want to carry a tote bag. I like the book bag, but some people like tote bags. It just depends on your preference, what's convenient for you. What are some other top things to consider before giving birth? Some other things to consider are whether or not you want to breastfeed or formula feed or a combination of both. We actually had to do a combination because I never quite got a full supply of breast milk to feed my baby and adequate enough. Like, he is a big baby, he was definitely demanding, and so I would breastfeed as much as I could. And what ended up happening was I would breastfeed while we were at home, but when I sent him to daycare, he would have formula, so that way I know for sure he's fed, and then I am relieved when I need to be. So in the morning times I would breastfeed, he would have formula during the day, and then when he would come home, I would breastfeed to put him to bed. What are some other things? You know, things that you need to take to the hospital. I actually have a list. I think I may put up a list on the screen to show my hospital prep list for me, baby, and dad. I'll put that on the list. On the screen for you all to look at and screenshot if you all need it. Definitely have in mind child care services. We had a nightmare when it came to our child care services. When I tell you 3 days before I was supposed to go back to work, the lady that we had set up for a private daycare, she canceled on us. And we had to rip and run and try to find a different place. And thank the Lord that happened, honestly. I mean, the Lord works in mysterious ways, because I actually when we went to go tour, I wasn't 100% satisfied with the daycare, well, the private daycare. And then since she canceled on us, we had to rush and try to find a different place. We ended up going with an actual facility, and I am in love. When I tell y'all, in love with this facility. They eased my transition to go back to work, so that way I wouldn't be so worried about the baby, about Bryson, because they offer a live camera feed of what's going on in the daycare. They update me every time he eats, every time he takes a nap, every time he's changed. And then they also send pictures and videos of the different activities that he is doing throughout the day. Love it. Couldn't ask for a better daycare. The staff there, they are very nice. They are very experienced. They have all of their credentials up on the walls outside of each one of the classroom doors. I love it. Love it. Very transparent, very secure. Couldn't ask for anything better. So please make sure you all are trying to figure out what you're going to do as far as childcare. You're going to have a family member watching the baby while you go to work, a private daycare, an actual public facility, whatever. Just make sure you figure that out. And childcare services is definitely not cheap. I'm gonna tell you this right now. So go ahead and start budgeting if you don't have a family member or a family friend to watch the baby for free. The next question is, what are the next 24 to 48 hours like after you're discharged? First of all, it's not terrible, it is a tremendous, that's the word I want to use. It is a tremendous transition, because you go from being in the hospital, the nurses coming in, taking baby to do whatever they need to do, run tests, be circumcised, all these different things. They're doing everything. Of course, you're there changing the baby, but normally when they go take the baby somewhere, the baby is already coming back and the baby is changed. They do everything. And then you come home and it's like, did you really just let me take this baby home by myself? Like, this is my first time. What do you mean? But it's like, I don't know what it is. It's like, it just automatically just comes over you. You know exactly what the baby needs, what they want. You know, you form that bond, you use that skin to skin connection, and you just somehow miraculously know exactly what the baby needs. However, when it's time, when you have that first night back and the baby is in the bassinet asleep right next to you in the bed or next to your bed, y'all, when I tell you, I probably got 30 minutes of sleep that night. I woke up every 5 minutes looking over like, is he awake? Is he awake? Is he alive? Is his chest moving up and down? Like, y'all, I mean, I could not sleep for anything. I just kept waking up, looking at him, making sure he was okay, hoping that he wasn't too cold, hoping that he wasn't too hot. I could not sleep at all that first night. Like, I was going through. And I was so tired. It would be like times where I thank the Lord that nothing happened, but we'll be in the bed. I'll have the boppy pillow around me. He'll be breastfeeding. And as he's breastfeeding, I end up falling asleep myself. And I did that like almost every night throughout the night. He'll fall asleep on the boppy pillow, but I make sure that he's like on the inside of the bed, comfortable. And then I might just fall asleep sitting up like this, like. It was so crazy, but I had to find a way to make sure that I got some sleep and I knew that he was okay. Like, it was so crazy, but it was very nerve-wracking. I'll say that. You're getting up every 2 hours. I had to set an alarm on my phone every 2 hours, so that way I made sure that he woke up and was able to eat. Sometimes he'll keep sleeping. Sometimes he'll wake up before the 2 hour time frame. Whew, it was crazy throughout the night, that first 48 hours. Basically, like, you're on their schedule. That's why I said sometimes you start with their schedule, sometimes you develop your own, but for the most part, you're on the baby schedule. And like I said, their stomachs are so small, so they're waking up every 2 hours because they're hungry every 2 hours. So you feeding them every 2 hours. It got to a point where when I was pumping throughout the day, I had to make sure I got a small little refrigerator and a bottle warmer, and I had it upstairs next to our bed, so that way I wouldn't have to go downstairs to get a bottle or whatever the case may be. I can warm up the bottles, and if not, I'll just put them on the boob, so that way he can do what he had to do. It got to a point where he was using me as a pacifier. He would not take a pacifier for anything, y'all. Like, I was like, Lord, please let this baby. I know it's like you don't want a baby to have a pacifier because it's going to be so hard to break them from using it. But I was like, I need to be able to go to sleep. I can't sleep because he wants to just, you know, whine or whatever. He wants to be on my boob. And I can't sleep because then what? And it's like, sometimes you're not even hungry. You've been changed, you've been fed. Like, all you need to do is take a nap, or you just woke up and you just want to have something to do, but you're not taking a pacifier. So now it's like, I'm a slave to you. But that first 48 hours was crazy. Like, I would say the worst part about it is establishing some type of sleep. And then during the day, you know, same thing, every 2 hours. They tell you to sleep when the baby sleep, but it's like you got so many other things that you need to do. You need to do laundry, you need to eat, you need to take a shower. All those necessities is like you know, you take those for granted, because it's like when you can't do those things when you want to, it's like, when am I going to be able to do it? So it was definitely an adjustment, but I'm going to tell you this right now. If you all are dealing with this right now, the time will come where all that will come to pass, you guys. Like, you'll move through it. The time will move by fast. I'm not saying that the baby will grow up extra fast, but those struggles will not last forever. Trust me. I've made it on the other side. I'm so grateful and thankful. And letting you know that it is possible. Next question. How did you determine breastfeeding or bottle? I knew I wanted to breastfeed. I know that, you know, breastfeeding there's a lot of health benefits for breastfeeding, nutrients. It helps you as a mom. I've read that it decreases your chance of having breast cancer and all types of different health concerns. I wanted to breastfeed, but I couldn't breastfeed 100% because like I said, my milk never fully established. Like my left breast, it produced a lot of milk, but that right breast, it did not produce. It produced like maybe an eighth of the amount that my left breast produced. And I believe that my milk supply kind of decreased because when Bryson was born, he was born with a lip tie and a tongue tie, meaning that the little skin under the tongue, it was too tight, and then it was like a little skin between the lip and the gum, it was too tight, so he couldn't latch on as well. And so we scheduled an appointment for him to go to a dentist that actually performs lasering those little pieces of skin. And the time, but it was like maybe 2 weeks. I think he was 2 weeks old when we went to that appointment. But the time, that 2 weeks was very vital and detrimental. And I honestly believe that that kind of had an effect on decreasing my milk supply because I couldn't breastfeed as much as I wanted to. So I was pumping, but it's still something about the saliva in the baby on your breast, on your nipple, and it communicates to your brain to produce more milk. And I couldn't do that because he wasn't latching. He was getting frustrated. I was getting frustrated. I was crying. It was just a lot of emotions. But once he got that procedure, we had no issues. So he was only like 2 weeks, like I said, when we took him to get the procedure, but he was able to breastfeed almost immediately after we had the procedure. So we breastfed, well, I breastfed as much as I could, but like I said, it got to a point where I couldn't produce as much as that he needed. So he lost like almost a pound after his first day of being born. We went to the pediatrician and they gave us formula. The formula that we use is Enfamil. This is not sponsored. I'm just sharing the information that you all want to know. But the pediatrician gave us Enfamil, and that's how we decided to do like a combination feeding. So like I said, I would breastfeed as much as I could anytime he was at home, and whenever I couldn't give him what I couldn't provide, he drank formula milk. So I kind of did both. We were hybrid feeding. All right, next question. Key routines: laundry, errands, daycare, commute. I've kind of answered a bit of that already. As far as daycare, I take him to daycare in the morning because I go to work a little later than my husband. He gets off before me, so he picks him up from daycare. So that's how we establish that routine. As far as errands, I've gotten comfortable with taking Bryson with me, but most of the time I try to run my errands either when I'm working from home and I take Bryson to daycare still, or when I get off of work, when I know my husband has picked him up. Every now and then I do take him to the store with me. He's gotten to be the size where he fits in the cart or buggy, grocery cart, grocery buggy, whichever one you want to call it, depending on where you are in the United States. But he can sit in the seat now. Sometimes I've taken him in the stroller so that way I wouldn't have to take him out of the car seat. I just put the car seat onto the stroller and we keep it moving. That's only if I'm doing like something real small, if I'm going into the store to get 1 or 2 things, something not major. But if I'm getting a large amount of things, I put him in the cart and we keep it moving. For a while, I wasn't comfortable with taking him anywhere. That's why I said I would wait until I work from home when he's at daycare or when I get off of work and it's just me. Like, it's just like my anxiety. I just didn't know how he was going to react. I didn't know if he was going to start crying. It's just a lot. I didn't want to have to, worry about taking him into a public bathroom to change him if it was unnecessary. So I didn't really take him into the stores as much as I do now. He's a lot more self-sufficient. He's getting big. He's very inquisitive and nosy and looking around, seeing what's what. And I enjoy showing him different places so that way he can be more familiar and know how to act when it's time to go out somewhere in public. So laundry, I just do it when I can. A lot of times I do it when he's asleep or during that same time, like I said, when I'm working from home and he's at daycare. But he's not really a burden. He'll be in his little toy play set. Not play set. Is it play set? Maybe it's play set. I don't know. But anyway, he'll be in his crib or in the playpen. That's what it is, playpen. And then I have like this little stationary walker type toy. I'll sit him in that and I'll do things. I'll You know, it's not really hard to throw clothes in the washing machine and dryer, but when it's time to fold them up, that has been an issue. Honestly, that's an issue for everybody, with or without a baby. But with the baby, I'll put him in his little stationary toy set. He'll play, watch a little TV here and there. That's really the only time I let him watch TV as well, is when I need him to have his attention somewhere else so I can do either get dressed or do laundry. And I'll fold everything up and then put everything away, and then I'll take him back out. That's really it. Dating, we still have taken him, or are taking him out with us when we go to restaurants. We've had one night where the daycare actually gave, I think it was 2 nights that they gave, but we only took advantage of one. The daycare has like a parents' night out, and so they have extended hours. They open from 6 to 10 p.m. gives the parents time to have dates or whatever. So we did that one time where we let him stay at the daycare a little longer, so that way we can go out. But I really don't mind bringing him with us. You know, he's not a problem. He sleeps around the time that we take naps. That's his bedtime anyway. So he's normally sleep the entire time in his car seat when we are at dinner, or when we go out to lunch. He's looking around. Now he's starting to eat the food that we're eating. So, you know, he's really not a problem. Like I said, he hasn't been a huge crier at all. So we really haven't had any issues with taking him out. And he's also traveled with me as well. He's flown the plane 2 different trips, 4 different times, because you know it's flying to and flying from. But he's a great baby. Like, he has no problem with going to sleep. Once he gets comfortable, he's knocked out and we're good. And that's what I truly appreciate. Routine on cooking meals. Normally I'm cooking in the evening time. I wait until he goes to bed, which causes us to eat later than we really want to. But I mean, it's working right now. Like I said, he normally goes to bed around 6:37, sometimes 7:30. And so by that time, I can get up after putting him down for sleep, and I can get up and start cooking. So that's usually how we're doing things, or how I've been doing things for a while since I've gone back to work. Next question. How did you feel or decide when to take baby outside, and when or do you let people touch and hold baby? This question is probably more relevant to when he was a little younger. He's in daycare now, so he's been exposed probably to more things than I have at this point. But as far as when did I decide to take him outside, I took him out. He might have been like 3 weeks old, maybe a month the first time, but all we did was just walk around the neighborhood. I put him in a stroller. I needed some fresh air. I had to get out the house. I wanted to get out and move around, so I took him outside. We went on a walk, and it was fine. He was fine. Made sure he had on, it was springtime. It was in May, so it really wasn't cold, but I still had him on some pants, a long sleeve onesie that was kind of thin, and then some mittens so that way he wouldn't scratch himself. But listen, you gotta do what you gotta do. I didn't have any problem with taking him out. I didn't bring him around anybody in public until, no, I'm sorry, before I say that, we did go out. Me and Brandon and him went out one time. He was like a month old. We went to the restaurant. I wanted to get out, like I said, or I'm used to, you know, going out doing things for myself, and I miss going out to brunch and, you know, just enjoying myself. And I was like, I think, matter of fact, no, it wasn't quite, was it Mother's Day? I think it might have been the weekend before Mother's Day, because we went out for Mother's Day as well. But I just didn't want to lose myself. So I was like, let's go. We're going to go to a restaurant. It was fine. He was fine. He slept the entire time. We went out. I think where we went to was out on the National Harbor, and we were out walking, fresh air. He needed fresh air. He was fine. But I didn't let him like get around other people, and like I didn't feel comfortable enough to bring him around other people until he got his 2-month shots. So that was like my marking point for when I felt comfortable for him to be around certain people. He still wasn't around everybody, but I did take him to work with me. Well, I wasn't working, but I wanted other of my coworkers who care about us, I wanted them to see him. And so that's, I think he might have been 2 months and 2 days old by the time I took him around the public, so that way they can see him. But like I said, I didn't do it until he got his 2-month shots. That was my, you know, way to feel a little bit comfortable enough with bringing him around people in the public. It was only certain people, even those that I trusted at work. I didn't let everybody hold him. And I was very strategic on who I let hold him, who I let get in his face. Most people, they know not to touch the baby's hands because they normally put their hands in their mouth or in their face. So not a lot of people really touched him unless I allowed them to hold him, but that was about it. Next question. What was your approach to buying clothes? Honestly, y'all, we were and still are so blessed. Brandon's mom, other than the clothes that people bought for the baby shower, but since then, and when he grew out of those clothes, which might have been like ranging from newborn to 3 to 6 months, Brandon's mom, my husband's mom, my mother-in-law, she bought and has been buying so many clothes for Bryson. Like, I may buy a few things like for Christmas time. His daycare had like Spirit Week with different Christmas themed days. And like for October, breast cancer awareness, I bought a couple of pink tops for him to wear. But other than things like that, she has been buying all of his clothes. So I really don't have any advice on giving you as far as buying clothes. He has been measuring large for his size since I was pregnant with him. And so he's actually in larger clothes size. I told you he's 9 months. He'll be 10 months in a little while. And he's wearing 18-month clothes. So he's double the size that of his age. But that's really all the information I can give you. Like, there's really no strategy, and the months sizes on the clothes really doesn't too much apply to how old they are. As I just said, it's based off of their size, how much they weigh, how long and tall they are. So that is what really the sizes truly mean. So he could be, which he is 9 months, but he's wearing 18-month clothes. So the age doesn't really have anything to do with the size of clothes that you purchase. It's based off of the size of the baby. And you'll be able to tell when they start needing the next size up. Stuff start getting a little tight. You can't stretch it the way you normally are. Same thing with diapers. They might start having blowout poops, and that's when you know you need to go up to the next size up. So that's kind of your way. Like, you can tell when, don't be trying to force the baby to stay in a certain size based off of the age. Let the baby grow and let the clothes grow with them. Next question. What do you recommend people prioritize on their registry? Clothes, hygiene items, travel systems, diapers. Because you can never have enough diapers and wipes. Diapers and wipes, I'm telling you, them wipes and them diapers go a long way. You need them. Listen, sometimes you might change the baby, they'll be done peed, and then 10 minutes later they done pooped. And you got, that's two diapers in a matter of 10 minutes. What the heck? So yes, diapers, wipes, clothes. You need clothes for when they're at home, when you take them out somewhere. You know, you have to change them if they use the bathroom on themselves or have a blowout in the public. So you need to have multiple clothes to change them in when you go out. Hygiene, as far as like the little, what is it called? Not nail clip, but it's, I can't think of the word. I'll put it on the screens. I can't think. I still have, now I guess it's considered mommy brain. But filer, nail file, but an electrical one. Soaps, lotions, shampoos, a little infant tub, multiple ones depending on, you know, the size of the baby. I'll list my registry in the bottom so that way you all can see the items. I had like over 400 things on my registry because I wanted to make sure we had everything that we needed. So I'll have that listed in the bottom. Are there any practices you do to prepare baby to talk? Books, etc. I have been talking to that baby like I'm talking to you all since he was born. Like, I don't do the goo goo gaga, those little baby sounds, because if that's what they hear, that's what they're going to mimic. So if you talk to them like a human being, then that's what they're going to talk to you like. So that's basically what I've been doing. Of course, I've been reading to him since I was pregnant. I read books to him now. I try to find when I allow him to find or watch TV, I find little cartoons or TV children's programs that are educational, that may do like nursery rhymes that's still educational. I would say the key is to talk to the child or to the baby as if you're talking to any other person that you're in the room with, because why not? Like if you talk to them all that goo goo gaga baby talk, that's how they're going to talk. That's how they're going when they are able to develop words. Those are the words that they've been used to hearing, so that's what they're going to say. When they say when they're trying to talk and they start saying their little words, you respond back to them. That's how they know that it's call and response. When they say something, you respond. When you say something, they respond. So just talk to them like they're a human being, because that's exactly what they are, just little ones. Next question. Asking about doctor's visits, pregnancy and baby. When you first get pregnant, I think for the first 20 weeks, you have an appointment once a month, once every 4 weeks. And then after your 20 weeks, I think you then have 2 appointments a month every other week. Then when you're 36 weeks, I believe, then you have an appointment every week until it's time for you to have the baby. When the baby is born, and then you may have other appointments in between depending on if you're high risk or there's other concerns that the doctor may have. Once the baby is born, the baby has an appointment within the first 2 or 3 days with the pediatrician. Bryson had to go back to the doctor a couple of days later because, like I said, he lost weight because he wasn't eating enough. And so he had to go back to the doctor before his 1 week appointment. So it's typically 2 or 3 days after birth, 1 week appointment, 2 week appointment, 4 week appointment, 2 month appointment, 4 month, 6 month, then 9 month, and then 12 months that I know for sure. After that, I'm not too familiar because we've only now have gone to our 9 month appointment. So I'm not sure what happens after the 12 month. And I know his next appointment is 12 months. Of course, you're going to have to go to doctor's appointments when the baby is sick. If you put your baby in daycare, it's definitely going to be cases where the baby gets sick. They're definitely going to get sick, so you're going to take them to the doctor, and they want you to take them to the doctor anytime you feel like they got a cold, something's wrong. Take them to the doctor. They want to see it before it gets to be something that you can't control. So that's basically how the doctor's appointments go for mom and for baby. Next question: how do you take care of yourself? What does self-care look like when he's first born? Honestly, to be honest with you, it's whatever you can do when you can, because like I said, that's how you establish prioritizing time, who's going to spend time with baby, so the one parent can do what they need to do. You have to be intentional with trying to carve out time to take care of yourself. You need to make sure that you take time to take a shower, eat, get some rest. I know there may be things going on or around you in the house that might take your attention, but you need to make sure you are resting, getting some sleep. If you're tired, you can't provide and nurture your baby. Make sure you're eating, especially, and drinking water, especially if you are breastfeeding, because you need to feed yourself in order to feed your baby. And you need to take care of yourself, hygiene, take a shower. Sometimes when you take that good long shower, or however long shower you can, it gives you a boost of energy, and so you're able to provide, again, like I said, for your baby and take care of yourself. We all know the saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. So if you aren't fulfilling yourself, you can't fulfill others. And they always say, actually, on the airplane, put your own oxygen mask on before you help your baby. You have to be able to be healthy yourself in order to help others. So how do you take care of yourself? Like I said, just be intentional about making the time. Communicate to your support system. Let them know when you need something, when you need help. Don't be scared to ask for it. I know we all want to try to do everything we can for our baby, but sometimes we need assistance, and you need to make sure that you communicate that, because you don't know what your body can hold or can take until it tells you, I can't take no more. So make sure you're doing what you need to do to make sure that you are providing and having self-care for yourself, whether that's going to get a massage, going out to have some quiet time at a restaurant to yourself, or a library or a coffee shop, or going to get your nails and feet done, whatever that means to you, going to a quiet place in the house to read a book, communicate that what you need to those who are around you so that way you can take care of yourself. Next question is stitches and tearing, or concern stitches and tearing. If you deliver vaginally, that's how I delivered. I can't really speak for anyone who had a C-section or a cesarean. But if you deliver vaginally, it is possible to have tearing and stitches. I actually had a little tear. If there are any men listening, be sensitive to your wives or the mothers of your children. Women, if you're having babies, I had a tear on my labia. I didn't have any, I think it's perineal tearing, which is the little space in between your vagina and your anus. That didn't tear. A lot of people say that's like the worst tearing because you can't use the bathroom like how you need to. It hurts to use the bathroom. But like I said, I had a little tearing on my labia and they had to do stitches. I did get the epidural, so I was still numb down there when they used the needle to stitch me back up. So I didn't feel that, but after the fact, I definitely had to use the ice packs that they provide in the hospital, and witch hazel packs, and what else was it? Aloe vera gel, I think, is what was used. My sister made a whole bunch of those pads and put them in the freezer, and those were a lifesaver. I had an incident where I didn't wear it for a little bit of time, wear one of those ice packs, so I wasn't numb down there, and I had to use the bathroom. I had to pee, and it burns so bad. Yeah, when I tell you that pain might have been worse than labor itself. I cried so hard, I could not take it. And there was a time where I had to pee so bad, like I was steady drinking water to be able to breastfeed, but then it was hurting to pee, so I couldn't pee. I'm rocking back and forth, being able to try to suppress my sensation to need to urinate. It was terrible. And then my aunt gave me this beautiful idea of using Vaseline, and I put that on there as like a barrier to the urine, and that was the best thing I did. I was able to do that, and I was able to urinate, and then after that I made sure I had on those ice pads until I felt like I had finally healed. And the last question or concern is about doctors' postpartum appointments. I kind of mentioned it earlier as far as appointments that are needed. Well, I think I spoke about appointments while we were pregnant and the children, well, the baby's appointments. But postpartum appointments that include, I think I had to do an appointment after 1 week, 2 weeks, and then 6 weeks. And then I believe 6 months after that, because I wanted to get on birth control. But during each one of those appointments, and also during some of the pediatrician appointments, they give you this worksheet to fill out, asking you questions to make sure that you don't have postpartum depression. They're making sure that there's no more bleeding, or that the bleeding is starting to decrease more and more. They're asking you how you're feeling, how you're adjusting, but it's not too much details. More so the work comes in, like I said, with the pediatrician appointments and the babies getting their shots and everything. But those are typically the appointments that are scheduled unless you have some other health concerns or questions about whatever, or things that are going wrong, or hopefully not, but things that may be bothering you. I think this is where the questions conclude. That was all the questions or concerns that I received. Like I said, I'll be putting up more Q&A or question boxes on my stories throughout the time. Let me know. You always can DM me or send me a message on YouTube, or comment below if you have any other questions about anything that I may not have answered. I'm telling you all, new moms, those who are trying to become mothers, those who may be on your second or third baby and you just forgot about what happened before, You can do whatever you put your mind to. Make sure you take time for yourself. Make sure you don't beat yourself up if things aren't going the way you envisioned before getting pregnant. Just go with the flow. Like, your baby trusts you, so trust yourself. Your baby is comfortable with you, so make sure you let them know that you are comfortable around them. You don't want to give them any vibes that, you know, you're uneasy or sad or frustrated or whatever. Just take a deep breath. There's all types of information on the internet. The doctors and pediatricians are always available to help you with any questions. There's so much information on social media. Hopefully, like I said, I was able to give you all some information. Don't stress, don't beat yourself up. It's all a beautiful journey, and you learning a new you while you're going through this. So just grab the horse or the bull by the horns and just keep going. You all got it. I hope I was able to help you all with any questions or concerns that you may have had, any doubts. I just hope that someone learned something. If you don't learn everything, or if you can't use all of the information that I've provided, I hope one item at least helps someone out there. And if you know someone who is pregnant or is trying to become pregnant or just had a baby, share this information with them, share this video with them, so that way they can be reassured that everything is going to be okay. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Thank you all so much for visiting me and stopping by. I hope that you all come back next week so we can have another good old time, y'all. See you later.